Hi, my name is Grant Millen, and I'm the owner and innovation strategist with InnovoGraph, a management consulting and strategic innovation services firm in Asheville, North Carolina. And today I'm going to be talking to you about North Carolina's innovation and opportunity ecosystem, or the NCIO. To sum up, the NCIO is a beyond tech innovation that still uses technology effectively and efficiently to do crowdsourced strategy. It is also an information-based, an issue-based information system, and a collaborative innovation network, and a community knowledge management platform. You'd think our newspapers and government databases are good knowledge management platforms, but that DIKUW process I talked about, understanding and wisdom, that's different. That's ongoing. That's collaboration. That's having a discussion every day or once a week or every couple of weeks that checks in on big issues happening in North Carolina, and it's different than each of us separately looking at the news and responding and maybe trying to go to our favorite activist group or Chamber of Commerce event. Going to go bigger and deeper with the NCIO. Human activities manifest through business models, and that can be in how strategy affects government. Business models, corporate business models, affect government. Business strategies affect government. And individual entrepreneurs and businesses and nonprofits should have strategies and business models. In open strategic innovation, the InnovoGraph approach to combining strategy, business models, and innovation ecosystem work openly with clients and at their discretion with their stakeholders. I've created a backbone for a new approach to doing North Carolina's public business, or at least a framework for collaborative innovation. There's a lot of different expertise in North Carolina, and what I'm wanting to do is to bring us, many of us anyways, together working online using cloud-based Enterprise 2.0 technology. This technology, the main technology we're going to be using is called Podio, and it's great to have a common communication system. And Facebook and Twitter, while they have their value, they're not a place to do complex work and to do collaborative innovation. And that's what I'm offering, and I hope you'll join me in the NCIO. So first, the NCIO changes perspective on things. Rather than responding to strategy that's coming at us, people using strategy and technology effectively, working in a rainforest ecosystem view, working from that viewpoint, and the rainforest refers to a book called The Rainforest, The Secrets to Building the Next Silicon Valley, and I'll get into that book at a later time, but it is not so much that we're going to create another Silicon Valley in North Carolina. We have the Research Triangle. It's that a lot of the concepts from that book and other books like Gardens of Democracy have great ideas for doing public business from the external side and engaging government. There's a new term out called civic engagement. You'd think that we have great civic engagement, being the one of the founding nations using the concept of democracy. Seems like we're challenged by civic engagement these days in North Carolina, and that's part of what NCIO is about, and it is about opportunity. It's about economic opportunity developed from within North Carolina for the people of North Carolina. But it's also about opportunities in the area of civic engagement. So more opportunities beyond the high-tech only space, beyond what Silicon Valley produces, beyond certainly what organizations like ALEC produce for the people of North Carolina. So North Carolina and strategy. Strategy is a diagnosis of a challenge, a prescription with a solution to that challenge, and policies that support that prescription. But strategy can be what happens to you, to your organization, your community, versus being something that belongs to you, representing responsible performance that was shaped by your mind and your hands. So this is a social strategy. We know about social media, and when I talk about Enterprise 2.0, there are some elements of Podia that should be familiar for folks who even have basic knowledge of Facebook, but it does a great deal more. And it's not that you need computer programming, but you can program, you can DIY, do it yourself, create applications in Podio, and I'm offering that part of the NCIO. What's really important right now is users of the NCIO and communicating and start sharing what we know and sharing data and knowledge and understanding and wisdom. Human strategy and innovation significantly form the future more than any natural event. But when we think about climate change, we certainly form the future in terms of natural events. Futures are the factors and events resulting from today's strategy. So what is North Carolina's strategy today as a state? What does it feel like? What does it look like? How do we dissect what's wrong and focus on what's right, on what's working right? So that's the kind of prompting questions that we'll be using in the NCIO to get to work on North Carolina's strategic innovation needs. OSI, frequently asked questions. InnovoGraph's OSI platform includes MindJet and Podio and InnovoGraph knowledge to support client needs, and in this case, support the NCIO for innovation pioneers living in North Carolina and friends of North Carolina. You don't have to live in North Carolina to be an NCIO member. OSI and IOs are an innovation support system flexible enough to adapt to the client stakeholder perspective. InnovoGraph plus OSI plus North Carolina, that's the NCIO, the people of North Carolina. The NCIOs democratize cross-disciplinary innovation programming. When I mention the concept open, in whether it's open strategic innovation or otherwise, a good analogy is the scientific method. Peer reviewing, open, crowdsourced data as part of the starting point. Data isn't everything, but much of our ideas can be stimulated by reading a newspaper article. Certainly we see challenges when we look at news data. Open, crowdsourced critical analysis. In news websites today, there's often a comment section. Well, is that really a optimum medium for critical analysis? Those comment sections in news articles. Where do we go? Where's the comments for doing critical analysis together. School, well, some would uh, question whether school may teach you tools for critical analysis, but it's debatable if all of the most important critical analysis that is happening and could be happening is happening in our universities or in news media. And we don't have a good commons. The events, public events that are about solving challenges together. Some good ideas, not so great ideas. We're going to really try to work on what is strategic innovation and how can we do it on a fairly constant basis, using Enterprise 2.0, using the cloud, using the OSI tools, Podio, and I'm going to be talking about MindJet more in the future. So in the scientific method, if out of these activities no rational strategy comes into being, we go back to an open process in steps 1 and 2. The data, the analysis, done openly with peers until we find success, or something closer to success and further from not success and disasters. Data, information, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. These are elements of a scientific method. Where do we see this when we're talking about problem policy and policy making in Raleigh, in Washington, D.C., in our local municipalities? Meetings are often open to the public, but can everybody get to every meeting? It's not modern compared to using Enterprise 2.0 and the new principles of civic engagement that are coming forward. Yes, we have the Constitution. We have some great principles like the preamble to the Constitution that talks about domestic tranquility and the public welfare. But how can we use data, information, knowledge, understanding, wisdom, combine that with technology effectively and efficiently, not doing more than that's needed, but taking advantage of not complex tools. Requires some Facebook usage and ability to create Microsoft Office files to use Podio. Mind mapping on MindJet a little bit more complicated, but this is part of what InnovoGraph is doing by supporting the NC IOE is helping with some of the analytics of DIKUW. So the scientific method and strategic innovation, going from DIKUW, data, information, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, creating hypotheses, experiments, theories, and designing and delivering and capturing new and renewing value or strategic innovation processes. We create business models, we experiment with business models to create new organizations and new initiatives. We find the single strategy out of the experiments that we're going to be working with. And these are similar to a theory. And when we know what works, we start creating models and laws. And with a strategy, we begin to get engaged with resources and the world around us to execute. And what we like are effective, efficient changes that are ethical, positive, and do it again. Create civilization strategies like the preamble to the Constitution, or make use of the preamble of the Constitution. Maybe it's not being used correctly or effectively and efficiently today. And through these processes, we're creating more DIKUW, more data, information, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. We learn and collaborate together. Where? Now we have the NC IOE. Why? To stay ahead and relevant. Jumping the S-curve. The S-curve is a commercial concept that refers to competitors pushing industry followers and into a downward slope. High performers, if we want North Carolina to be a high performer, we're not necessarily competing with other states any further. We want a co-opetition world, but we are competing with ideas and trends that come from a previous era that sometimes try to be resurrected, and they need to be pushed out out of our ecosystem. So we need high-performing ideas, and that's what OSI and InnovoGraph is all about. It's working with the front end of innovation. To realize our ambitions, North Carolinians from all demographics and all social sectors have ambitions, and we're looking for a stable core current state, a North Carolina that is resilient and adaptive to change, to negative changes, but is working towards not just adapting, but changing the future, looking for adjacencies in the white space, the opportunities that other people, other organizations, other regions don't see, and not just for ourselves, but for those other parts of the nation and collaborators around the world. We're looking for new things to expand on out of what does work in North Carolina. And then we're also looking for the transformational breakthroughs, things for not only markets, but for sustainability purposes, for government innovation that don't exist right now, or again, as I mentioned, the preamble, bringing back great ideas and making them work in a value creation, delivery, and capture deployment mode rather than just being some text in the Constitution. Again, rationale for strategic innovation. We deserve a modern, creative way of working with business and non-business ecosystem issues, with our management systems. When we think of government, that would be Raleigh or City Hall, and individual and organization business model innovation issues, including the individual focus, and we're collaborating using the NC IOE, and we're finding new targets for adjacencies, for keeping the core running well, and for that which is transformational, together collaboratively using the NC IOE. What is Enterprise 2.0? Social software for connecting human intelligence and fostering communication, open to teams for knowledge sharing purposes. You want free-form software, customizable software, rather than constraining approaches that come from software developers that they assume that they know what you want. Things change, and that's what Podio and MindJet do, is they provide a backbone to the front end of innovation, trying different things are changing. You don't want just a few templates for doing everything that needs to be done. Overall use is critical, but some features are optional. Overall use meaning team members need to use the software. In this case, OSI on Podio and OSI on MindJet. Again, custom versus predefined workflows, creative versus formal hierarchies, and the database needs to accept many types of data, which Podio and MindJet do. Social economy with Enterprise 2.0. McKinsey and Company has a report out from 2012 titled The Social Economy, and making reference to potential 900 billion to 1.3 trillion in productivity across 10 different business operations areas beyond marketing. And according to Facebook, according to Pew Research, Facebook uses leveling off. We need to look at that social network, social media elements combined in new ways that meet an unmet need. The difference between an unmet need for tools and processes that define productivity versus value creation. There's a lot of productivity in the world, but a lot of that productivity turns into wasted effort and wasted resources, producing events like climate change. So value creation is being productive, but also addressing, creating new value and approaching challenges like, for example, climate change or poverty. Standard social media like Facebook and Twitter has a role, but what's next? Enterprise 2.0 and solutions like InnovoGraph's open strategic innovation approach. OSI skills up, NC IOE, or down to individual needs. It's social networking and a value creation engine. People, institutions, policies, and resources that promote the translation of new ideas into often technology-only products and processes and services are generally recognized to comprise the innovation ecosystem. If we look at products and services and processes that are related to other sectors besides high technology, we can use a lot of these value creation ideas for better production of food, addressing poverty, government innovation, and whatever creativity, delivery, and capture of value combinations we can come up with in the NC IOE. What are design and innovation creativity questions that stimulate value delivery and capture? For example, what could we move into a new context, either in time or in space? What could we change in terms of design or performance? What could we look at in a new way? What could we use in a new way or for the first time? That's how you find value, innovation, delivery, what to deliver to markets and to ask for in terms of government strategic innovation. What is open about OSI? Let's start with what OSI isn't. It's not about giving away trade secrets or weakening strategic position. OSI is open minds, open hearts, open communities, openings in trust, openings in ecosystems, openings in business models, openings in strategies. Workspaces on the NC IOE. OSI and IOs democratize innovation through a dynamic ecosystem mix of people, content, and technology using cloud and live interface. We don't have plans for face-to-face events through the NC IOE, but that's a great goal. there's plenty to do using OSI on Podio. And these are the OSI on Podio workspaces. It's the right time to democratize innovation across sectors. So we've talked about that. We've talked about taking innovation concepts and tools out of high tech only, and here's the sectors we're going to be applying innovation principles to. First, there's a program management office to take issues and concerns about the NCIO itself, share lessons learned about the NCIO, make decisions about the NCIO. Next is the spirit, health, vocation, and personal development workspace, the nature, water, and food workspace, media, arts and culture, economics, infrastructure, and community development, management science. Management science meaning learning more about innovation practices for one, human resources, finance, anything management related. Government law and politics, science and technology. Yes, we will still talk about technology, but responsible innovation principles assigned to science and technology, at least in the NCIO. And transdisciplinary design, or trans design. It's a combination, looking at these lists of areas, these various cross disciplines, and transecting the potential for barriers and siloing, and seeing what kind of combinations are in all of these different areas. It may just be one or two, and it may be, of course, nature, water and food, linked to science and technology, and of course government regulations that might affect or not affect correctly outcomes in nature, like climate change policy. And then we're going to allow for startups and innovations to come forward from using the NCIO. InnovoGraph doesn't make any assurances about success using the NCIO, but we certainly allow for you to be successful as possible using the NCIO. Open isn't easy, but working alone in a more adversarial world is even harder. So, some fresh thinking about public strategy. Government does have time to engage more deeply with the public. Government does still need to innovate in crises. Government is responsible for the quality of democracy, and our out of many one principle is an OSI, Open Strategic Innovation principle, that we're going to be using in the NCIO. What we're looking for is tighter calibration of what is strategy, what is good strategy versus bad strategy, defining that. This is essential to successfully accelerating individual, organization, and learning, or local, regional, national, and global strategic innovation performance issues. What we're looking for is focus by seeing what's true. The obvious is the obvious, but in a platform like the NCIO, we're not going to go from just looking at the bad news in the newspaper. We're going to have context, communication, and collaboration. What I'm talking about sounds complex, but we're also eliminating unnecessary complexity and clutter. We're eliminating redundancies. We're not doing rework. We're not all going to be coming up with the same idea at once. We're going to say, hey, several of us are coming up with the same idea at once, and we're going to do things collaboratively instead of just stepping on each other's feet. And we're going to drive innovation at speed because we've got a new approach. What results may come forward besides learning something new and maybe being part of a new startup, and it can mean an intrapreneurship innovation for your organization too. When I say startups, we're going to be learning how to be better innovation strategists, thinking about that core of our operations, innovation programming ideas coming out of the NC IOE because you're working with a group of peers that may not be in your sector, but you may still get some new knowledge from somebody who's working in another sector. And we're learning how to be better strategists, better innovation strategists than just strategists. Learning how to work with our projects and do the value creation, delivery, and capture process better individually and as an NC IOE team. So how to get started? First, engage with InnovoGraph. It's great that you're watching this video today. Please sign up on Podio yourself. Let me know when you've signed up on Podio, and there's instructions for that on the NC IOE project section of InnovoGraph.com. You're welcome to try MindJet. I'm going to be creating plenty of mind maps for everybody, and I work with clients one-on-one using MindJet, but you're welcome to begin to learn about MindJet right now. And let's start creating value together. And let's do it today. Here's how to contact me. My cell is 828-423-2266. And feel free to check out my About Me page, and definitely engage with me on InnovoGraph.com and look up NC IOE. NC IOE. Thank you so much.